The Gospel of Mark. The blind man at Bethsaida. Mark 8:22-26. Introduction. 1. Among the many people Jesus healed included the blind. A. As foretold by Isaiah. Luke 4:18. B. Offered as evidence to John the Baptist. Luke 7:20-22. 2. The healing of a blind man in our text is unique in two ways. A. It is found only in Mark's Gospel. B. It is the only miracle by that occurs in two stages. 1. The narrative. A. Jesus arrives in Bethsaida. 1. Bethsaida Julias, near where the 5,000 had been fed. Mark 8:22. Luke 9:10. 2. On the northeast side of the Sea of Galilee, near the entrance of the Jordan. B. A blind man is brought to him. 1. By those who begged Jesus to touch him. Mark 8:22. 2. By concerned friends, similar to those who brought the paralytic. Mark 2:3. He came to Bethsaida. They brought a blind man to him and begged him to touch him. Mark 8:22. C. Jesus takes him out of the town. 1. Leading the blind man by the hand. Mark 8:23. 2. Similar to what he did with the deaf mute. Mk 7:33. He took hold of the blind man by the hand and brought him out of the village. When he had spit on his eyes and laid his hands on him, he asked him if he saw anything. Mark 8:23. D. Jesus heals him in two stages. 1. Stage 1. Mark 8:23-24. A. Jesus spat on his eyes and then touched him. 1. Similar to what he did with the deaf mute. Mark 7:33. 2. Perhaps to convey to the blind man his intentions. 3. The spit. His intention was to heal. Saliva was thought to have medicinal properties. 4. The touch. Something will be done for your eyes, and I will do it. B. When asked if he saw anything, he looked up and said, I see men like trees, walking. He looked up and said, I see men, for I see them like trees walking. Mark 8:24. 2. Stage 2. Mark 8:25. A. Jesus put his hands on his eyes again and made him look up. B. His sight was completely restored and saw everyone clearly. Then again he laid his hands on his eyes. He looked intently and was restored and saw everyone clearly. Mark 8:25. E. Jesus sends him away with an admonition. 1. To his house, not into town, not to tell anyone. Mark 8:26. 2. Similar to earlier admonitions following his healings. Mark 1:44. 5:43. 7:36. 3. Undue attention would hinder his ability to travel and do his work. 4. Especially by the Pharisees, Sadducees, and the Herodians. Mark 8:11. He sent him away to his house, saying, Don't enter into the village, nor tell anyone in the village. Mark 8:26. 2. Some observations. A. We do not know why Jesus did it this way. 1. Why take the blind man out of the town of Bethsaida? A. To avoid publicity. B. To establish a one-to-one relationship with the man. C. Because Bethsaida had been judged already. Matthew 11:21-22. 2. Why didn't the man receive perfect sight immediately? A. Was it the spiritual condition of the man himself? B. Was it to illustrate the slow progress of the disciples' faith? Mark 8:18. Any explanation is speculation at best. B. The Lord does not always do things the same way. 1. Jesus healed at least 8 blind men, using a variety of approaches. A. 2 men were healed by a simple touch of their eyes. Matthew 9:27-31. B. A blind and mute man was simply healed. Matthew 12:22. C. 2 more blind men were healed by a simple touch of the eyes. Matthew 20:30-34. D. In our text, the blind man was healed with touch and spittle in 2 stages. Mark 8:22-26. E. Blind Bartimaeus was healed with but a simple word. Mark 10:46-52. F. A blind man was healed with the anointment of the eyes with clay and spittle, followed by washing in the pool of Siloam. John 9:1-7, 2. Similarly, prayer is not always answered the same way. A. God may say yes and the prayer answer immediately. B. God may say yes, but wait a while. C. God may say yes, but not in the way you expect. Faith is content to receive God's working, however he deems proper. C. Spiritual growth occurs in stages. 1. Similar to how this particular miracle occurred. 2. Such was the case with Jesus' disciples. Mark 8:18. 3. So we should expect our spiritual growth to take time. 1 Corinthians 3:1-2, 2 Peter 3:18. Faith is patient, understanding that important things often take time. Conclusion. 1. Many commentators have noted our similarity with the blind man at Bethsaida. A. We are spiritually blinded by sin, in need of healing. Romans 3:23. B. We need the special attention of Jesus to be healed. Matthew 11:28-30. Mark 16:15-16. Colossians 2:11-13. C. When Jesus heals us of spiritual blindness, it may take a while to see clearly. Hebrews 5:12-14. 2. Are you still in sin? A. Blinded by sin and alienated from the life of God. Ephesians 4:17-19. B. Then you need Jesus to be renewed in righteousness and holiness. Ephesians 4:20-24. Begin by coming to Jesus through obedience to his gospel, and continue by walking with him, seeing more clearly day by day. The end. The Gospel of Mark. The blind man at Bethsaida. Mark 8:22-26.